Hi guys. Today I'm here with Coco Daisy's Simon and Betty kit, which I've been working with the last few weeks, and it's so colorful, so much fun, really great as we head into February and think about the month of love. And so what I'm going to do with you today is work with this trend that's the concept of geometric hearts. And I don't know if any of you follow Tracy Fox on Instagram. She did a really great video series on scrappy trends, and one of them was this geometric heart. And so I wanted to give it a try because I thought it would be really cool on Valentines or on cards. And that means you'd work smaller, and then, say the 12 by 12 scrapbook page heart, which of course would be much larger, but it then necessitates, essentially cutting squares. And because you're working so small, if you're making cards, you can simply use a 1x1 square punch, which I think most of us have in our stash. And I'll show you what the card looks like, and then we'll kind of finish making one. Anyway, here it is. And you can see it's geometric because it's made up of triangles, which kind of form squares. I'm actually not a very precise person, so some of you might do this in a very neat fashion. I made a kind of Jill messy version of it, just basically lining up so that you can actually see it's a heart. But some people are very precise and stitch in between the squares and so forth, and that's very lovely too. So just kind of adapt it to your own style. In order to make this size heart, which goes on just a standard size card, I punched 5 squares out of the lovely pattern paper that you'll find in the Coco Daisy kits called Simon and Betty, which I guess is the January kit, very February themed. So get your paper and your punch. And then, as I said, if you punch 5 squares, that will give you the 20 little triangles, because you're going to cut these in 4 pieces. I just cut from the corners and go from corner to corner, and do that one more time at the corner, and then you have these little triangles. What I did to make my card was just all the cutting, gather your colors, what you want, so you have all your little pieces. And I've started the heart here, so you don't have to watch me painstakingly put all of these little triangles down, but I thought I would finish it and show you what the process is like. I think the main thing you want to keep in mind is, it depends on the look you want, but the look that I'm going for is the colors are a little bit spaced. In other words, you don't have identical colors side by side. I mean, I think you could definitely do it in that way. In fact, you could just use a 1-color paper and make essentially a kind of a solid color heart. Obviously, what we're working with here is a quilt principle. So those of you who are quilters will find this to be a very natural process. I'm not a quilter, so I've kind of just been learning as I go. Going to go ahead and cut a few more, again, just for the sake of some variety of choices. They are just really, really fresh, pretty colors in the Coco Daisy kit. And get a little bit more of this striking blue color in there. So it helped me to, as I got all these triangles ready, to think about the squares that are formed. See, there's a square, there's a square. You can also think of it this way. And it helped me get them a little bit more even. As you can see, I'm not leaving a precise amount of space or anything. I'm just eyeballing it. You might want to be a little more careful than I am, but I like to just kind of be free and easy and have fun with the process. yeah, so I think this is a great way to generate some, pretty striking, pretty valentines to send out. The other thing that I would recommend is using some sort of rolling adhesive like this, because, dot roller, because it's very easy then to readjust, to reposition and move around. As you can see, some of this is just flying around here on me. Because it can be just a little bit fussy. And let's see. Yeah, of course, this seemed much easier off camera, but just keep moving until you get the general shape of a heart. It's called a geometric heart because of the geometric forms within it, and so that it makes a little bit of a pointed heart. And then, yeah, to finish off, just a couple triangles going this way here at the bottom. Let's see what we need. Kind of like that. Yeah, lately, as you can probably tell from my projects, I've been really interested in finding ways to work with scraps and work with little bits of paper, whether it's in card making or scrapbook pages. There, see? Essentially a kind of cool heart, and you can always swap out, look at it, think about the papers you have, see if you want to change anything, because this type of adhesive is pretty forgiving. And then what I did when I was happy with it was, and I'm doing this on just pieces of relatively thin cardstock, because I plan to send some of them through the mail. And then what I did was a little bit of messy, curvy stitching in a pink thread. And then I just, you can choose the sentiment that you like. You can work with the really cute stamp set in the kit as well. I just chose a little sentiment that said, "My heart is wherever you are," since that seemed to really fit the theme I was working with there. When I send these out, I'm looking forward to using some of that adorable heart washi that comes in the kit, with maybe a little accent of black and white on the envelope. But yeah, if you work on this kind of thin paper, then I just adhere it to a regular card. That way the stitching doesn't show on the inside of the card, and it gives it a little more stability. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to point out was this can be adapted to so many different kinds of projects, and I'm not done with this project yet, but I'm working on a nice big heart for my traveler's notebook page, and using a little bit of the pom-pom there. And I plan to kind of put in a black and white photo and finish this layout with some additional detail. But I wanted to show you how you could just cut the squares bigger. This is a punch that's a bit larger. I'm not sure if it's 2 by 2, but you can see what works. It would be a little bit larger than the 1 inch if you're going to work in a traveler's notebook. But I also added in addition to the Cocoa Daisy papers, I added in a little bit of black and white and gray just to see what the neutrals would do, especially since I'm working on a kind of wild and crazy pink scheme otherwise. So yeah, I like it. I'm looking forward to finishing that. There are all sorts of possibilities in the Simon and Betty kit for card making. This just gives you one way to approach your project of making Valentine's cards and celebrating love in February. Okay, have a great day, you guys. Thanks.